Hey, what's going on, guys? Quick little side intro before the actual video itself. I apologize for the delays on this video. There is going to be some timestamps right here if you guys want to hop around either the battle, the free agent picks, or the team builder, whatever you want to choose to. Long story short, if you're not caught up on the community posts, my computer blue screened on my editing day when I was supposed to edit week 3. I was out of commission for a week, got it back. Was out of town the weekend, I got it back. And then I've been sick like a dog all week. So thank you to Joey and the rest of the admin group over the SPL for putting up with me. It stresses me out that I'm behind. So I really appreciate just the good faith. It's okays. It's been eating me alive. So appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this. Check out some links in the description if you guys want to check out any of the SPL information. If you guys want to check out any additional links, that'll help me out. But all that being said, appreciate you guys, and here's the video.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome out. It is week 3 of the Shuckle Premier League. My name is CBAD, coach of the Detroit Steel Wings. We are here today taking on Shuckle King and the Philadelphia Stunkies. There is some free agent transactions made that I do want to talk about. The Pokemon that we switched out for, so this may be a little counterintuitive, but I really felt like, I know it was only 2 weeks in, I really felt like some of the Pokemon I was required to bring every week. The Pokemon that I wasn't bringing were just sitting there, and I might be able to get some more value elsewhere. So one of those Pokemon being Ditto, and I know I explicitly said in the draft analysis that I'm bringing Ditto so I don't have to face it, and so my opponents will have to consider, counter prepping for it. I brought Ditto week 1, and week 2 I really didn't see much of a value, and I thought to myself, am I really just holding on to a Pokemon just to make sure I don't have to play it? Like, is that, yes, there's merit in that, but how much merit does that really bring to the table? So I did drop Ditto. I also did drop Grimmsnarl. I dropped Lucario, and I dropped Vikavolt. So Vikavolt, I really feel like with a lot of the power creeping that's going on in Pokemon recently with stats, I really feel like they're just, in my own playstyle, I didn't find much opportunity to set up sticky webs unless it was like a Focus Sash set, and then it's all about trying to keep hazards back up. I don't have like a very reliable spin blocker, and I don't have a defog mitigator with like Pokemon like Defiant or something like that. So I really didn't see that there. It did hit hard, so we did make some transactions which I'll talk about to kind of cover those gaps. Grimmsnarl I've used before, and again, the utility is nice, but maybe I can find that utility elsewhere as well with Prankster and Fairy typing. And then Lucario hits very offensively, but it was my Steel type that was neutral to Fairy moves, so I didn't really have a Fairy check. My Fairy check was Terra Poison, Hisuian, Quillfish. So we dropped Lucario, we dropped Ditto, we dropped Grimmsnarl, we dropped Vikavolt. Which 4 did we pick up? So the first Pokemon that we picked up within this transactional period. So we did drop, let's go down the list. So the first Pokemon that we dropped Grimmsnarl, and we picked up Klefki. So Klefki gives us a Steel type that is not, that actually resists Fairy moves, right? It is still a Fairy type, so we have that Dragon immunity as well. It has Prankster, it has Screens, and it has a litany of other Prankster-like moves that it can go for. I won't go too much into detail there, but it does provide a little bit more of a defensive backbone for the team. Still does, in my opinion, a very similar role as Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl can be a little bit more of a utility. Grimmsnarl can also be run very offensively, but I wanted something that could kind of help check for Fairy coverage there. So Klefki was that pick. Now, that gives us some points to kind of move over and swap around. So the next Pokemon, we dropped Vikavolt, like I said. So the next Pokemon that I wanted to grab is Pinkerchin. Pinkerchin is an electric type. What Pinkerchin does is it has the electric surge ability. So overall 435 base stats, super slow, hits really hard with 101 attack stat, has access to spikes, T-spikes, memento, things along those lines. But the cool thing here is that its hidden ability is electric surge, which summons the electric terrain, which can activate Iron Bundle's Quark Drive, which is awesome because that boosts most commonly my special attack by 30% or my speed by extra 50%. Freeing me up to use another item so I'm not reliant on booster energy if I want either of those stats, which is awesome. Provides a little bit more defense, in my opinion, provides the utility in the electric surge. It can also be an electric immunity with the lightning rod ability, but it does have access, to standard electric type stuff, Thunder Wave, Discharge. It does have access to Zing Zap, which is cool, Liquidation, Memento, I think I had mentioned as well, Priority, and Sucker Punch. So it does some different things, and it does some cool things as well, which I like. And that really kind of shifts where the rest of the transactions go, because now that I have access to electric terrain, what's next on the roster, right? So maybe it was actually, instead of Vikavolt for Pinkerchin, maybe it was Ditto for Pinkerchin. Either way, we would drop for Pinkerchin. It was Ditto for Pinkerchin. We dropped, using some of the leftover points from Grimmsnarl to Klefki, we dropped Ditto and picked up Pinkerton. We dropped Vikavolt, and we picked up Alolan Raichu to capitalize on that electric terrain. And it is also a fast electric type, and it is an offensive psychic type, which I really like. So the Surge Surfer ability, Alolan Raichu has 110 base speed. So Surge Surfer, it doubles when it's in electric terrain. So provided that we have the appropriate setup, we don't even need to really put much speed investment in there because we're already naturally fast and then just doubled with that terrain. Alolan Raichu is awesome. It has access to Nasty Plot. It's got priority in Fake Out. It has Knockoff. It can set up screens as well, which is nice. It has Volt Switch. It has Wish support. And Alolan Raichu is the replacement Terra Captain for Vikavolt. So we did need to use one of its natural typings, either Electric or Psychic, for its option. So I went with Electric, same reasoning as Vikavolt. If there is no ground type there, those electric moves and electric pivots are just going to hurt that much more. The next one that I wanted to do was Fairy. I really think just making anything a Fairy type is really, really nice overall. It mitigates our dark weakness as well, which is nice. So if we do take a knockoff, we now resist the knockoff. We resist the bug typing as well if something goes for a U-turn or anything along those lines. It does allow us that. Provides us a very strong Terra Blast Fairy, but also we do get some access to Draining Kiss as a form of recovery, recovering 75% of the damage dealt. So getting the extra boost on top of that as a Terra Fairy Alolan Raichu could be beneficial. And then the last one we did was Grass. So Grass mitigates our ground weakness is there as well. So we have two offensive Terra types, and then one defensive in the form of Grass. So very excited to use the Alolan Raichu. I believe I may have used it before outside of terrain, so I am very excited to see how it performs within terrain. And then the last Pokemon. So I talked about how we dropped Lucario, which was a fighting steel type. We have our steel type, but what about a fighting type? Golly gee, if only there was a fighting type that performed well with access to terrain. We got Hawlucha. Hawlucha, 118 base speed, 92 base attack, so not like the most impressive attack stat on the team, right? But it does have access to 3 great abilities. It is a fighting and flying type with access to Limber, so it can't be paralyzed. Unburdened, so the speed is doubled on held item lost. And then Mold Breaker, so similar to Ogerpon Hearthflame, we do have my Pokemon's moves ignore, and their effects ignore the abilities of other Pokemon, which is fantastic. So something like Unburdened can work with White Herb, it can work with a stat boosting berry, a healing berry, something along those lines, but it also can work with Electric Seed, which pops under electric terrain, raising our defense, allowing us setup potential. We have access to moves like Acrobatics. We can Baton Pass. Baton Pass, no stats, mind you. Have access to U-Turn, have Swords Dance, Bulk Up, High Jump Kick, Close Combat, Drain Punch, your standard fighting coverage moves. But I think this is really awesome because Pokemon, I like Lucario does well. Unfortunately, there are a lot of Pokemon that naturally outspeed Lucario, so you really have to find yourself in a good position to set up and sweep late game. You can certainly toss a Life Orb or a Choice Scarf on it, but with something like Hawlucha being able to access Unburden, being able to get some setup just natively with losing an item and having access to double speed, and then just really being able to pressure our opponent with that, I think Hawlucha will make that role just a little bit better than Lucario would. And another thing that Hawlucha does is it does give us access to Defog as well. So maybe we don't bring the hyper offensive support Hawlucha. Maybe we just bring something like Close Combat and Brave Bird with Defog and U-Turn or something like that. Defog and Roost just to hit hard with dual stab and pivot around, could be very good for us. So those are our free agent transactions. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And now we will get into the team builder. So looking at my opponent's team, the first 3 Pokemon, really we find ourselves in a good situation where a lot of teams have trouble dealing with both water and ice coverage, as well as dealing with fast Pokemon. So the first Pokemon that we are bringing this week is going to be the Iron Bundle. Iron Grandpa, the Iron Bundle, is rocking their Life Orb with the Quark Drive ability. U-Turn, Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, and Freeze Dry. 64 EVs in HP, 16 in defense, 252 in special attack, 176 in speed with a timid nature. What does this do for us? So U-Turn provides us good pivot momentum here, if we so need it. I like the U-Turn because it is a way for us to pivot out on maybe like an inbound Meowscarada or something like that over flip turn. Ice Beam hits super, super hard. Hits the Garchomp, hits the Meowscarada, hits the Enamorus, hits the Monkey Dory, hits the Umbreon, hits the Talonflame, hits the Brambleghast, hits the Girder. Hydro Pump hits Bronzong. Hydro Pump hits Garchomp for neutral hits the Enamorous, hits the Munkidori, hits the Bronzong, hits the Umbreon, hits the Talonflame, hits the Girder. And then we do have Freeze Dry if Basculegion shows up. Again, there was really not too much of an opportunity to find a fourth move on there to toss. I think Iron Bundle finds itself in a very common 4-move set syndrome. So Freeze Dry should the Basculegion show up. Basculegion does hit pretty hard on both the offensive, physically offensive and specially offensive side. And with access to adaptability, I mean, can knock out, just go for a liquidation and then turn around and go for a Shadow Ball. And both of those just doing crazy damage. So with this investment, we are outspeeding the entire team outside of terrain, right? We are outspeeding, if there is not a Choice Scarfer, or if we knock off any Choice Scarfs, we are outspeeding the entire team outside of terrain. 252 EVs in special attack give us the most special attack output that we can have. 176 in speed with a timid nature. Should the gosh darn should the electric terrain be up? Thank you. I couldn't think of the words there. Should we be able to access the electric terrain and activate our Quark Drive? 176 in speed with the timid nature allows us to actually outspeed a +1 Talonflame for whatever reason. We will outspeed literally everything with a Choice Scarf at that point. If the terrain is up and we have access to that. Other than that, we outspeed everything that is unscarfed and below. 64 EVs and HP leave us at 269 overall for our HP stat, which means Life Orb is only doing 26 points of damage as opposed to 27 points if we put full investment into our HP stat. And then the 16 EVs in defense just help kind of boost our overall physical defense there. A lot of my opponent's priority, if not all of my opponent's priority, is on the physical side. So just a little bit extra there to take those just in case my opponent does decide to go for that. I think Iron Bundle is going to serve as a great breaker inside or outside of terrain. And it's just going to be about how we can pivot and get that Pokemon in to just click buttons. Next Pokemon we are bringing is Pancake Man, the Alolan Raichu. If you guys didn't watch the free agent transactions and skipped right to the team builder, you guys are like, what is happening? You probably already thought that when you saw some Pokemon on the screen, but I digress. Pancake Man, the Alolan Raichu, he is holding his Life Orb with the Surgisurfer ability. We are running Terra Fairy this week with Terra Blast, Psyshock, Thunderbolt, and Nasty Plot. 32 EVs in HP, 252 in special attack, 224 in speed with a timid nature. With this speed, with our EVs, 252 in special attack, just maximizing our damage output. 224 in speed with a timid nature. We are outspeeding everything except for Meowscarada and Talonflame without terrain. So outside of terrain, if Meowscarada or Talonflame come in, we obviously don't want to handle any of those, so we can switch out into something else. But in terrain, we still obviously outspeed everything and anything. And then the remaining EVs just into our HP stat, which coincidentally put us at 269 as well. And as we just explained with Iron Bundle, that makes it so the Life Orb only does 26 as opposed to 27. Alolan Raichu goes in. I think of the 3 offensive Pokemon we are bringing, I think we've got a really good variety of coverage to hit. So Terra Blast Fairy hits the Garchomp, hits the Meowscarada. Thunderbolt hits the Enamorous. Psyshock hits the Munkidori. Thunderbolt hits the Bronzong. Depending on if my opponent brings Terra Umbreon, Terra Blast Fairy hits Terra Dark. Thunderbolt hits Terra Fairy, and Psyshock hits Terra Poison. Thunderbolt hits the Talonflame, Psyshock hits the Bramblegast, Thunderbolt, Psyshock, or Terra Fairy. I'll hit the Girder, Terra Fairy more than likely. And then Thunderbolt hits the Basculegion. So really coverage for the entire team, just being able to, going for a Nasty Plot and getting +2 really puts us in a very offensive position. Again, in terrain, outspeeding everything outside of terrain, outspeeding most of my opponent's Pokemon. The next Pokemon we are bringing, I'm really hopeful for this one. This was actually, I think, the first Pokemon that I built for this. And again, shout out to Eric and John for helping me spitball some ideas here as far as it would go. This was the first Pokemon I'm pretty sure I built for the team. We are bringing Birdsun the Hawlucha. He is rocking the Electric Seed with the Unburden ability. Substitute, Bulk Up, Acrobatics, and Drain Punch. We have 204 EVs in HP, 252 in attack, 52 in speed with an Adamant Nature. With the Unburden boost, we are outpacing Scarf Meowscarada. Without any sort of an Unburden boost, we are outspeeding Bronzong, we are outspeeding Umbreon, we are outspeeding Girder. We are also outspeeding Basculegion, so should we find an opportunity to set up on any one of those Pokemon, we can definitely try to. But the key here is to really lean into like Iron Bundle to break down for Raichu or Hawlucha to set up, go into Raichu to break down for Iron Bundle or Hawlucha to set up and sweep, or go into Hawlucha to really start breaking and then maybe clean up with Iron Bundle or Hawlucha. So the idea here is that Acrobatics and Drain Punch really, after a few boosts, do really, really well. The combination of Acrobatics and Drain Punch, in my opinion, really go unchecked, like Bronzong is there. But really after a few bulk ups, Drain Punch starts to get us back a little bit more, and there's not... I don't know if Bronzong will carry specific coverage like Psychic or something like that to deal with Hawlucha, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But that's kind of the game plan, is maybe find an opening on something like that. You know, with Pokemon like Talonflame having access to priority with Gale Wings, we do need to be careful. Infiltrator on Bramblegast is maybe something else we need to be careful of as well. But like I said, that really is, that's kind of my you know, the Electric Seed is going to boost our defense already. So being able to go for a substitute behind, you know, and maybe if Bronzong's going for like an Iron Head, like a Toxic or something like that to prevent us from setting up, we can start going for bulk ups. Something like Gyro Ball, something like Iron Head or something like that isn't going to necessarily break our sub, especially after a few bulk ups there. Same thing with Girder as well. You know, Girder's going to be able to hit pretty hard, but if we already have +1 defense and we're able to start bulking up in front of it, how much is that really doing? A lot of our HP investment really helping us out there. So that's the plan with Hawlucha. It really is a roll the die. Whoever gets in first starts chipping down, and the other two play cleanup afterwards. Next Pokemon we're bringing is Tummy Man the Donphan. He is rocking his Assault Vest with the sturdy ability. We have Ice Shard, Knockoff, Earthquake, and Rapid Spin. 208 EVs in HP, 48 in attack, 252 in special defense with a careful nature, because we needed a Pokemon to help out with Enamorus and Monkey Dory. With this set, we are 3-hit KO'd by Specs Enamorus Moonblast. If Enamorus goes for a Grass Knot, we can certainly switch around because we are 2-hit KO'd by Specs Enamorus Grass Knot, but we are 3-hit KO'd by Specs Moonblast, allowing us to maybe Rapid Spin Hazards away and then going for Ice Shard, maybe knocking it off if we so choose to prevent any further attack offense from that thing and really start to wear that thing down. Ice Shard's good just in general for Garchomp, Meowscarada, and Enamorus all being weak to it. Bramblegast also being weak to ice. We saw Ice Shard really putting a lot of work last week against the Salamence. So I'm thinking in a similar scenario, a very bulky Pokemon could also help out with that. Rapid Spin is nice. He's only got 1 spin blocker in Bramblegast, so being able to potentially Rapid Spin, get some boosts off, and then just start hitting things really hard, start removing items with knockoff is never a bad thing. And then Earthquake is also really nice, you know? Hitting the Garchomp, hitting the Monkey Dory. If it's a heat-proof Bronzong, maybe. But I think Levitate would likely be there. We do have Mold Breaker on Ogerpon Hearthflame, so I don't think he'd run heat-proof. I think he would run Levitate, so knockoff hopefully getting some good damage there. Potentially like a Culberberry Levitate set on that. Earthquake being able to hit Umbreon, being able to hit Girder and Basculegion as well. Bramblegast resisted, but we have knockoff and Ice Shard for that as well. Next Pokemon we're bringing, so we're doing a lot of talking about the terrain. We're talking a lot about electric terrain should be up, electric terrain should be up, electric terrain should be up. We're bringing Cheeky Man the Pinkerton. He's rocking the eject button with the electric surge ability, Spikes, Thunder Wave, Memento, and Discharge. 252 EVs in HP, 252 in defense, 4 in special attack with a bold nature. We are really just trying to take hits from something like Meowscarada, from Girder, from the Bramblegast. Being able to Thunder Wave those could be really nicely. Being able to Thunder Wave something like Meowscarada could be very beneficial as fast as it is, depending on what it is. And the eject button is going to pop if he does go for like a U-turn or something like that, and we can potentially eject button out into Hawlucha or something like that and start setting up a sub and going for a bulk up or something like that. That could be very, very nice. So the eject button helping us to really set the surge and back out. If there is a specially offensive mod, we're going to switch into one of our special defensive checks. But I'm thinking really leading Pinkerton. And then, like, if it's Meowscarada lead, it could be Focus Sash with hazards, potentially. So I got to play around on there. I did want both Thunder Wave and Discharge because if with the speed control, that could be beneficial late game if we're not able to get terrain up. I think being able to, you know, if we somehow get an Unburden boost off with Hawlucha and we lose it and we lose our terrain, you know, something like Raichu is also all of a sudden a lot slower as well, you know, against Meowscarada. I think something like Thunder Wave could be good there. So Discharge is nice for like damage and the chance to para, but Thunder Wave there for the guaranteed para is very, very nice. Spikes is cool. We talked about my opponent's ability to remove hazards in Bramblegast, Talonflame, and Girder. It does give us opportunity to potentially set up with one of our Pokemon or switch into one of our sweepers. So having to worry about Spikes could be something that's on my opponent's mind. And then Memento, if we really find ourselves in an opportunity where we're like, listen, we can nasty plot with Raichu right now. Memento knocks out the Pinkerton, but it does also lower the target's attack and special attack by 2 stages as well, allowing for something like Raichu or Hawlucha to come in and set up, which is great. And the last Pokemon we are bringing is Splashing Man the Cresselia. She is rocking her Culberberry with the Levitate ability, Moonlight, Moonblast, Charge Beam, and Lunar Dance. 252 EVs in HP, 4 in defense, 252 in special defense with a calm nature. Culverberry is nice for the for any knockoff users. My opponent does have a few of those lying around. Any dark type moves that my opponent wants to go for really help us out. Moonlight's there for the recovery. We are rocking both. We are rocking Moonlight for that recovery, just to be able to help us out. I was thinking between Lunar Blessing or Lunar Dance. I think Lunar Dance could be nice to bring back in and offer, you know, one of our setup sweepers some opportunity there. So that could be good. You know, maybe it's a Scarf Meowscarada going for knockoff. We live it through the Culverberry. We Lunar Dance and bring in Halucha or something to start setting up and sweeping could be good. Charge Beam just great for boosting offensive pressure. Moonblast, my opponent doesn't have too much for. Between Moonblast and Charge Beam, we are walled a little bit by the Bronzong, but this is not our Bronzong answer necessarily, so I'm not too worried about that. Moonblast really goes unchecked by my opponent's team. Garchomp's weak to it. Meowscarada's weak to it. Girder's weak to it. I think all those go well. Charge Beam hits pretty much everything else that the Moonblast doesn't want to go for. Also has a 70% chance to boost our special attack, which is good. Moonlight helps us out with that recovery like I talked about, and then Lunar Dance is able to help get one of our Pokemon, maybe revive Pinkerton if we need to keep the terrain a bit around. Maybe revive something like Donphan and help that thing out if it's getting worn down. Or like I said, getting a bit more of a guaranteed switch into something like Iron Bundle, Alolan Raichu, or Halucha. So all in all, I'm feeling really confident in this team. I like it. I haven't used terrain sweepers like this before, and on paper, it looks really good. It's just going to matter how well I play around it and what I can do. So appreciate you guys watching this. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the team in the comment section down below. I'm going to cut to the battle, and I'll be right back. All right. My opponent is bringing. We see the Garchomp. We see the Meowscarada. We see the Bronzong. We do not see Monkey Dory, and instead we see Talonflame. We do see the Enamorus. We don't see Brambleghast, and we see Girder. Okay. No Monkey Dory is always a good thing in my mind. I really like the idea of leading off with Pinkerton. I still like that idea in case of a Garchomp lead. We can just switch out after we get our terrain up, frankly. Because we live a max attack Garchomp, provided it's not like Life Orb or Earthquake or anything like that. So let's lead off with our Pinkerton here. Get the terrain up, see what he wants to go for. We've got our eject button and can take a lot of hits from everything else there. Trying to think. He's got both defoggers there again. No spinner. No spinner if we do want to go for a spike. Bronzong is nice. So it really looks like our terrain sweepers can do a lot of damage if we can meet the appropriate conditions of those. So let's see. Let's see what we got. We said our GLHFs in chat. My man Shuckle King repping the league alongside Joey. They founded this league, so I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. I don't know why my voice cracked like that. To be here. And really looking forward to this matchup. Leads off with the Girder. Okay. Knockoff is going to hurt. But it does give me opportunity to go for a spike here, really. Discharge you in 32 to 37. I don't know if we need our eject button in this scenario. I'm going to go for a spike. There's the Drain Punch. That's doing a lot. And pops our eject button. Okay, so we don't get our spike up. Our eject button is gone. Let me see. Girder. I feel like Iron Bundle's a great mon here. Actually, you know what's a great mon right here? Alolan Raichu. Getting that Terra Fairy just right out the gate. Terrain is up. Terra Blast is doing a lot. I think it's a great opportunity to go in. We're going to Terrastalize and go for a Nasty Plot. Let's see what we got here. You know, if he's got Poison Jab, if he's got like the Tech Poison Jab right here, does Girder get Poison Jab? Would you run Poison Jab for this scenario? You do get Poison Jab. Poison Jab will knock me out. So if he makes that read, good for him. We lose one of our sweepers early on. But I think we're in a pretty okay spot to go for this. I think this this would scare me out. So I have to imagine my opponent might. He stays in. Okay. Maybe the Terra Blast was the better play here. If he stays in, goes for the Poison Jab. Also terastallizes. Okay. So Girder can be fighting Steel or Fairy. We see the Fairy on Girder. Okay. Knockoff. All right, we have no Life Orb, but we are +2. Thunderbolt doing a lot of damage right here. I am just going to go for that. We see the Drain Punch. We see the knockoff. All right. Thunderbolt doing 95 to 102 to max HP Eviolite Girder. We have Terrain up. We are +2. We have no Life Orb, so we're not taking a lot of damage there. Let's see what we can make happen. Does not do... There's the Rock Slide. Okay, so does not take him out. We live that. We live that. I am just going to go for the... What would I go for here? I'm just going to keep tossing off... I'm going to toss off a Psyshock. I don't think that information reveals anything, right? If he, like, switches out into Garchomp and tries to mess around there. Does that do anything for us? I'll go for a Psyshock here. There's the Mach Punch. Okay, that brings us down to 13. We saw the full set for Girder. We are going to be able to take that thing out. Alolan Raichu. KO's Girder with Psyshock. Okay. I don't know how many turns. We've seen enough of his set to know. We've seen enough of his set to know all 4 moves and the Terra type. So I'm curious about what... I'm curious what you're bringing here. Meowscarada. Meowscarada definitely has priority here. Definitely has, like, Sucker Punch or something. How many turns? What is it? Check status. I've got 1 turn of terrain left. I'm going to go into Cresselia here. I'm going to go into Cresselia. Definitely maybe like a Sucker Punch or something comes out. Okay, we see the Sucker Punch. Okay. Terrain is gone. Terrain is gone. Cresselia against Meowscarada. You know, we get big damage off of a Moonblast here with our Culver Berry. I'm going to go for it. Withdraws. Okay, so maybe choice, question mark? Here comes the Enamorous. Ooh. Wonder if it's contrary. It is contrary. Because why would you run anything else here? Okay, that's unfortunate. I'm going to start going for Charge Beams here to get some damage off. This is 23 to 28. This thing hits like a truck. We know the Meowscarada has priority. So let's start firing off Charge Beams. We still have our Culver Berry as well. I don't know if this thing gets knockoff. I don't know if he'd want to go for it. It does not get knockoff. The only other Pokemon that should have knockoff on my opponent's side is the Meowscarada, if he's running both Sucker Punch and knockoff. So let's see. Moonblast from a Specs Enamorous is doing 34 to 40. But this is Specs and +1. This does 51 to 60. Goes for Agility. Speed Harsh. What? Wait a minute. What? What are we doing here? There's a Moonblast. 257 to 44. 58. Yeah, so he's obviously not boosted in any capacity here. I'm +1. Would Moonblast take you out from here? 33 to 35. I'm going to go for it in case like Garchomp comes in or something. Or if the Meowscarada wants to show up now. Agility and Contrary. Interesting. We don't knock it out. There's the Moonblast again. Brings us down to 64 to 44. My special attack drops. Do I Lunar Dance Raichu back up here? Because this was a check for Enamorous. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go for Lunar Dance. And bring Raichu back in. Agility and Contrary? What am I missing there? Like for Trick Room, maybe? Maybe. All right, Cresselia KOs itself with Lunar Dance. There's the Moonblast. So we've seen Agility. We've seen Moonblast. I think I go back in here into Alola and just pick this off with a Terra Blast, I would imagine. I think that's what I do here. Raichu's back up to full. There's a Terra Blast. Okay, so we're going to knock this thing out. So we got Bronzong, Talonflame, Garchomp, and Meowscarada left. I think Meowscarada is choice in some fashion. Alolan Raichu KOs Enamorous with Terra Blast. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got. We could set up our Electric Terrain again for Alolan Raichu, Hawlucha, or Iron Bundle to come in. I think Meowscarada might be choice in some fashion. I don't know why you wouldn't stay in. I mean, maybe if you predicted like the Tech Colbur Berry, I think you'd have like U-turn if you weren't choiced, right? So here comes Meowscarada. Okay. So Meowscarada against choice. Let's just say choice band Meowscarada, right? Crispy Meowscarada, Flower Trick does knock us out. Okay. So if I go into Pinkerton here, do I take... I probably don't take two of those, right? So it would need to be do or die time. Pinkerton against Meowscarada. Choice band. Flower Trick is 57 to 63. We're at 221. 74. Let's do it. Let's swap in because I'm curious if Hawlucha after the Electric Seed would live that. Flower Trick's a 3-hit KO against Hawlucha. There's the Flower Trick. There's Protean as well. That is... yep. That is always going to be a crit. Okay. I think that is Choice Band. So I'm going to hard switch into Hawlucha where we take 41 to 46 to this. Oh, withdraws. Okay. So I still have this. So we go on to Garchomp. Okay. All right. I think this is a good opportunity for us to go for a substitute and see what he wants to do. Maybe he does have phasing potential. Maybe. Maybe just Chip is fine. If you got phasing potential, I lose my Unburden, right? We take any one hit. Let's go for an acrobatics. Let's see. Let's see what we got. We're +1 right now. I don't want to lose that. So even if he does go for like a Dragon Tail or something like that, I do want the chip on there. Doing 38 to 45. Dragon Tails us out into something. Alolan Raichu's faster. Iron Bundle's faster. Pinkerchin, we would likely switch back out into Hawlucha and try this again. Really? Maybe Donphan for the Ice Shard? And if it doesn't have Dragon Tail in this thing, then... Yeah, I think I would assume Meowscarada is Choice Band. Okay, that looks like max HP Garchomp. There's Swords Dance of his own. Okay. Okay. We got +2 now. I'll go for a bulk up. I'll play the game. I'll bulk up in front of this thing, and then an acrobatic should take it out. Scale shot. Okay. Loaded dice, maybe? So his defense is going to drop. But I'm still faster with the Unburden, so I'm going to go for a Drain Punch here. I think that pops before the Rocky Helmet. Drain Punch doing 59 to 70. We'd recover about 35 to 42. Max speed Jolly is at 499. We're at 570 right now with the Unburden boost. All right, Hawlucha KO's Garchomp with Drain Punch. There's the Rough Skin. Where does that put us? All right. Bronzong, Talonflame, and Meowscarada are left. Terrain is gone, so the next time we bring in Pinkerchip, we will get full terrain use here. Talonflame probably comes in, right? I don't think I let this go to waste if it's like a Flame Body set, if I'm being honest. Yeah. I mean, let's calc. Brave Bird. Adamant. River does 57 to 67. I'm at 190. Yeah. I'm at 26%. Okay. I'm going to go for an acrobatics here on the off chance he's Flame Body and not Gale Wings. I've got 2 other potential sweepers in the back. I lose my Unburden on this thing if not. Acrobatics doing 66 to 79 to max HP Talonflame. Brave Bird with the Gale Wings takes us out. But we have done a lot with Hawlucha. We still have our terrain in the back. Brave Bird, if this thing is Gale Wings, the Brave Bird recoil will knock this thing out. And we'll be able to bring back in Raichu afterwards and start clicking buttons as well. After we get our terrain back up. There's the acrobatics. He is Flame Body. Oh my god, is that a crit? No. What? Did I not calc that right? Hawlucha KO's Talonflame with acrobatics? We're +1. We're adamant. We have no item. Here comes Bronzong. Okay. I'm gonna go for a bulk up. So Gyro Ball does 26 to 31 to us. If I get another bulk up off, Gyro Ball is only doing 21 to 25, and we start recovering a bit more. Let me sub first. Let me sub. That'll bring us down to 3. Psychic. Okay. So he does have coverage for this. Okay, so we're going to go down here. Drain Punch does a lot to this thing at +1. If he's specially defensive, this is 41 to 49. So I'm just going to go for the Drain Punch here to get the most bang for our buck. And we'll find out if he's a little bit more defensive, but I think Bronzong will take us out here. We wouldn't have recovered enough. We were at 26. We would have recovered up to 40. Psychic from Uninvested is doing 62 to 79 to us. So I think Hawlucha goes down here after picking up 2 KOs, which is fine. Bronzong and Meowscarada left. We've gotten the Girder, the Enamorate, the Garchomp, and the Talonflame. There's just these 2 left. Let's see what we can make happen. Okay, so he's a bit more physically defensive. Oh, goes for Stealth Rocks. Okay. Oh, I think that means Pinkerchin can come back in. Pinkerchin's 22. I can Rapid Spin with Donphan as well. Which gives me another Drain Punch here. That'll put me up to 153, 44, so Berry? Citrus Berry? Citrus Berry, okay. There's a Psychic, okay. Hawlucha Bronzong KOs. Talent, Hawlucha with Psychic. Okay. We bring back in Donphan to spin. We bring in Donphan to spin. Yeah, we get these hazards out of here. Oh, I sharded. Uh-oh. I hate this controller. That might be the best misplay of my life. No, it's not, actually. Because this is Bandit. I think it wins. Oh, that's huge. That misplay is actually huge. Oh, yeah. This knocks us out every time. I believe it knocks out... this is Bandit, actually. Iron Bundle outspeeds. Okay. I think I Ice Shard here. I think I still Ice Shard here. Meowscarada. KOs. Donphan with Flower Trick. Okay. Okay. We go out into... Yeah, Iron Grandpa here. Iron Grandpa's faster. Unless... If it is, I feel like it would be Choice Banded based off that damage. But Banded might... If it's Scarf, that misplay just cost me the game. I will just Ice Beam. Banded Sucker Punch does not kill my Alolan Raichu. It withdraws. Okay, so I believe he is Choice Banded. Okay. How much is Raichu at? I gotta take a look at that. Will I live after rocks? Oh, we got the freeze. Oh my god. I don't know if that's a bad thing or not. I'm gonna go for another Ice Beam then. All that does is make sure that I need to not miss the Hydro Pump. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's a 10% chance. So I think another Ice Beam will knock this thing out. And I don't think the Meowscarada can lock itself into anything. Ice Beam would kill the Meowscarada if it's Banded. Sucker Punch would not kill the... I'd have to stay in with Iron Bundle because he makes the read and goes for a Flower Trick on my Iron Bundle. And I try to switch, predicting that. I don't want to do that. Okay, Iron Bundle. KOs Bronzong with Ice Beam. Yeah, I need to stay in and attack this thing. If he goes for Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is 50 to 59. I'm actually at 56. So Sucker Punch has a chance to knock me out. I'll go for Ice Beam here. 11. All right, we're going to die to our own life orb, though. Iron Bundle KOs. Meowscarada with Ice Beam. Iron Bundle dies to Life Orb Recoil. And that is going to be a 2-0 victory over Shuckle King and the Philadelphia Stunkies. That Ice Shard almost... Oh, my God. If this were scarfed and not banded, that would have cost me the game. That would have absolutely cost me the game there. Wow. GG's to my man Shuckle King. I love the team. Love the lineup. Thank you so much for having a great battle with me, and I appreciate all of the accommodations with scheduling. I know it was a little weird towards the end of the week to get everything taken care of, but I really appreciate it. Guys, go check out Shuckle King's channel. Link will be in the description. I believe he is on his way to 1,000 subscribers, so if you guys are watching this and you're not subscribed over there, you can get him there today. Appreciate all the love. If you guys are new, subscribe for more. Speaking of subscribing, we're on our way to 35,000. You could be a part of the motion. Leave a like if you guys have enjoyed. All that being said, I want to remind you guys to be great and do great, and I'll see you on the next video. Later.